If you could just tell us your name and a little bit about your background.
My name is Professor Wittkowski. I was at the Rockefeller University for 20 years, head of the Department of Biostatistics, Epidemiology, and Research Design. And before that, I worked for 15 years with Klaus Dietz, one of the leading epidemiologists in the world, in the German town of Tübingen at the Eberhard-Karls University. Social distancing definitely is good. It prevented the sky from falling down.
Are you being ironic?
Of course. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. They're totally unrealistic. There are no indications that this flu is fundamentally different from every other flu. We know what happened in China. We know what happened in South Korea. We know what happened or is happening in Europe. There are no indications that anything is different from a regular flu. Maybe one that's a bit worse than other flus. Could be.
Early antibody testing suggests COVID-19 infections in LA County greatly exceed documented cases. Infections from the new coronavirus are far more widespread and the fatality rate much lower in LA County than previously thought. About 2.8% to 5.6% of the county's adult population has an antibody to the virus. USC is what they're saying here. And remember, this is a great university with great scientists. They're not trying to pull off a hoax. They're saying, look, we have done a study, a randomized study, and when we study the population, it looks like, yes, we're seeing those we've tested, but that looks like it's somewhere between, 28 to 55 times more. That we're missing the number, and as that number, I've told you for weeks, goes up, the death rate goes down. But they're not alone. Stanford has done a similar study. This is Stanford. LA County antibody tests suggest that coronavirus infections vastly exceed official counts. All of these studies are under peer review. They're not published yet. These are the findings that are coming out from these universities. They're preprints, so MedRex lets people look at the first draft of these studies. So let me make that clear, but look at how multiple institutions, all on their own, are coming to such similar conclusions. Remember, this isn't Neil Ferguson all by himself in the UK and the world is following. These are people and institutions on their own challenging it. All right, let's look at next at what it had to say. Infection fatality rate of 0.12 to 0.2%. Very, very similar. Two great universities with different scientific bodies doing different testing, coming to the same conclusion. And then outside of the university system, we have a private group. This is by Peter Richterich from CodonCode Corporation. They're involved in DNA sequencing. So look at what they had to say in their article. This study shows that the number of confirmed cases understates actual infections during the rapid growth phase of a COVID-19 epidemic by a factor of as much as 50 to 100 times. Three totally different entities now approaching this, all coming into this very, very similar result. 25 to 50 times, 50 to 80 times, 50 to 100 times the amount of people have been infected in America, which means our death rate has gone down. So you're either at 0.1 or 0.2, 1/10 of 1% or 1/20th of 1%. That's where we're at. Those are the facts. Flu in an average season is 0.13. There you have it. The death rate from seasonal flu is typically, they all say 0.1%, is 0.13, and it can go, in this case, 0.22. We've had flu seasons that went up to 0.5% that were really bad a few years ago. But still, what are we doing here?